It is exactly 6 after 12 o'clock, and in studio I have an amazing young lady, beautiful indeed as well. She's the author of a children's storybook entitled Jacaranda Tree and a poetry chapbook, Locked in a Suitcase. Chapbook. All right, so you're going to explain to me what that is. Welcome, lovely to have you here. And gosh, I'm just, looking at you, looking at this beautiful young woman sitting in front of me, having not only done her matric exams last year, but wrote 2 books in the process.
Mm-hmm.
How did this all come about? Were you always interested in books and in writing?
Mm-hmm. Well, for me, I've always been passionate and fascinated with storytelling and also what makes us human, humanity, how we're all connected with each other, and how everyone has our own unique history and story, and how we can share our stories to feel more connected with one another.
Just remind me how old you are.
I'm 19. I'm 19.
You're an old soul, my girl. Why did you decide to take on? I mean, you're writing matric and then decide to do 2 books in your matric year. And I have no doubt in my mind that you passed matric with flying colors, with distinctions. I'm
Yes.
more than certain.
Yes. Well, for me, when it came to releasing my work and my writing, it was a passion of mine and a hobby of mine. But then I soon realized that I wanted to take the leap or take a new project to release my books and my stories into the world. And it first started when I released a few of my poems on my website. And I really enjoyed the process of editing my work, fine-tuning it, and then releasing it. So then after that, I thought I wanted to start a new project of releasing my 2 books. And it didn't happen overnight. Instead, it took me approximately like around 3 years, and they were released in my matric year. So I did it gradually, and I gave myself a 3-year plan because I knew that I had the priorities and, I had to do schoolwork and I had to focus on that. But at the same time, I didn't want my age to limit me in pursuing my goals. And I wanted to also inspire others that you should give yourself permission to try something new, learn and experience. And the only way you can really learn is through taking action, opening the door for yourself. And through that, you can really open up your mind.
You're very young, 10 to 19-year-old, and I'm kind of wondering, who was the motivating factor in your life? Oftentimes we hear about very driven parents or other people in your life that makes you want to live up to, or just by being in their space helps you realize your dreams.
For me, when it came to writing, I used to write because every time I felt overwhelmed, stressed, or I was going through a difficult moment in my life, I always felt it was easier to write something down and express myself than necessarily articulating myself. So I would write if I felt overwhelmed with schoolwork or, anything happening in my personal life. Writing was a space where I felt I could be authentic, raw, honest, and myself. So I enjoyed the process of writing and expressing myself through that art form. And when I told my family I want to now start a new project of releasing 2 books, they had a bit of concern because they wanted to know how would I juggle all of this with my schoolwork and doing this. But they saw how well I had planned it out, made a strategy how I'm going to do this. And through that, they've supported me in this process and journey.
So who is or was your role model at that time?
I would say, well, my parents are a big role model for me because I've just seen them through their lives. Even if they ever went through a difficult moment or a challenging moment, they never let difficulty define them. Instead, they always conquered and always overcame it and looked at the brighter side of things. But also looking at other poets, I love reading poetry books. And a poet that comes to mind is Lebogang Mashile. Also another poet is Amanda Lovelace. Those are just 2 poets that I really enjoy, and I love reading their poetry about self-discovery, femininity, and how you grow and overcome challenges.
So talk a little more about poetry, but before we get there, let's understand this terminology. And I thought initially it might be a spelling error, but it's not. And you talk about, what was that word? I think with chapbook.
Yes.
What So educate me now. What
A
is
chapbook
chapbook?
is a poetry book. It's just another term to say poetry
Ah,
book. And it's for, I guess, a thin, smaller volume of poetry books. My poetry book is 21 poems. So, yeah. But,
and
yeah, poetry book, poetry collection, chapbook, all yeah, the
okay.
same, yeah.
This new terminology, I think we need to get with it
Mm-hmm.
as we move along. Okay, so you talked about your role models, you talk about your love for poetry. So obviously, mom and dad introduced you to reading at a very, very early age of your life. Did you kind of, just adapt immediately, instantly? Or was it a bit of cajoling on their part to get you to start reading books, etc., at a young, at a
Mm-hmm.
young stage in your life?
Yeah. For me, I loved storytelling,
Ah,
and storytelling through, oral storytelling of speaking and sharing a story, or theater and dramatic arts, or reading a book. That's something I just have always loved. It always has been entertaining and fascinating to me. So I think that is where I started to really love reading, through the whole storytelling process.
So tell us a little more about your siblings. Are they like you? Do they have similar interests? Are they very different to you? And have they ever teased you about your interest in books, poetry, and storytelling, or were they encouraging and made you feel I'm on the right track here?
For me, my sister, I would say she was supportive. And I think she was happy that I had found a way to express myself. And, especially during difficult times, she saw that I didn't let those moments stop me. Instead, they didn't define me. It wasn't like a hurdle that stopped my life. I always overcame it. And I decided to not let negativity stop me from pursuing my goals. So I would say she was supportive. She just knew I liked writing and it made me happy.
Let's talk about school. You matriculated last year. You
Mhm,
told me off air that you're taking time to concentrate on your work, your writing, etc. But then you are planning on going to the States next year
mhm.
to further your studies. Your
Yes.
sister is in the States
Yeah.
right now. What was your school life like? What did you enjoy at school? And the impact that your teachers and schoolmates had on you throughout your schooling career?
For me, when it came to writing, I did it more independently out of school. And where I received a lot of support was when I would go to the Nelson Mandela Foundation, because they have an initiative on Saturdays where you can do group readings. And I would read my book there and see the children's eyes light up, see parents enjoy the story and enjoy the message of my book. Or when I volunteered and also was at the launch of the Shukuru Library in Northwest, which is a small community, and they got a library donated to them and it was sponsored, and I was able to, launch my book there too, donate my book there, share it with the high school students and the little kids in Cratch. Also at the Patterson Library, that national library, I was able to be a part of a panel with a lot of academics and lecturers speaking about African literature, and I had the opportunity to share my book there. So I did this outside of the school environment. It was my own self-growth journey.
Wonderful. We're going to go for an ad break. When we come back, we're going to talk about your poetry and your book, and the two, of course, we're going to talk Jacaranda Tree and the chapbook, locked in a suitcase. So do stay with us.
Rejuvenating media day by day. This is Salam Media.
Shimmer, sparkle, captivate. Nothing less than a masterpiece. Droplets of gold inspires precious design. Platinum bursts with intricate freshness. And every pure diamond becomes more than just a girl's best friend. Voda Gold Gem Jewelers, where timeless dreams become a reality. Come to us. We tailor-make designer gold, platinum, and diamond jewelry. Trade in or remodel your old gold. Clad yourself with classy name-branded watches. We offer insurance valuation and freezer card calculation. Visit us at 534 Ridge Road, Overport, or call 031 208 9142. Voda Gold Gem Jewelers, manufacturers of fine gold and diamond jewelry.
Africa. Give the gift of clean water with Africa Muslims Agency. With every water well or borehole you donate, your drop becomes a river, reconnecting communities to nourishment, education, dignity and empowerment. Sponsor a water well for 17,000 Rand in Africa, or a borehole for 65,000 Rand in Afghanistan or Africa. Quench the thirst. Reconnect the soul with Africa Muslims Agency.
La ilaha illallah.
Dad, these Frymax chips are so tasty.
Wow, that really takes me back. My dad bought me a Frymax chips every day after school. They were my favorite when I was your age as well. Quality is at the very heart of what we do, and that's why we ensure that every Frymax packet is filled with the beautiful goodness and flavor-packed taste that you've come to expect from us since 1982. Frymax, from generation to generation.
Are you banking with convenience, transparency, and flexibility? With Al Barakah Bank's transactional banking account, you can enjoy convenient everyday banking designed around your needs. Benefit from zero fees on point-of-sale transactions and manage your banking easily through Al Barakah's secure mobile banking app and internet banking platform. From everyday payments to managing your personal or business banking, Al Barakah makes banking simple, transparent, and convenient. Visit albarakah.co.za to learn more. Al Barakah, your partner bank. Al Barakah Bank Limited is an authorized financial services and credit provider.
You South African, of course. You anxious about the future. We've got you covered. Build on your wealth portfolio with Randry Jewelers Gold Coin Exchange. Visit us at 151 Stephen Dlamini Road, Musgrave, Durban, or call us on 031-202-4700 for more information. Randry Jewelers Gold Coin Exchange, your passport to gold investment.
Listen to something fresh. Listen to Salam Media, your humanitarian broadcaster.
Welcome back. My guest is the gorgeous Naledi Setzin. She's only 19 years old. She's the author of a children's story book titled Jacaranda Tree and a poetry chapbook. I've learned a new word. Poetry chapbook locked in a suitcase. So I find this really, really interesting, fascinating, and pleased that a person this young can be so matured in her thinking on life and going out and just chasing her dreams and realizing them. Congrats.
Thank you so much.
So talk to us about Jacaranda Tree. What is it all about, and what was the reason and the motivation for you to start writing the book?
Yes. So Jacaranda Tree is a children's book that's centered about a jacaranda tree, which is the heart of the community, and everyone loves this jacaranda tree dearly. However, one day the jacaranda tree's life is under threat, and it's the community's responsibility either to care for the tree or neglect it. So you'll have to read the book to find out what happens. But my motivation to write this book was mainly the themes behind it, which was social responsibility, civic duty, community care, environmentalism, and the power we have in our voice, and how we can use our power in a constructive way or a destructive, but I strongly urge you to use it in a constructive manner. And I wanted to teach young kids from a very little age that you can engage in your community, you can take ownership of your space, and you can be productive. You don't have to wait to be a certain age to stand up and say, no, I want to protect the environment, or protect my belongings, or protect what you care deeply about. So I wanted to teach the youth that age should never limit you. It's all about your motive and why you want to do it and how you want to be an active citizen in your community.
At 19 years old, you're quite aware of environmental issues. The Thunberg girl from Sweden, the environmentalist, comes to mind as well. I mean, at a tender age of, I think, 14 or even younger, she became very active in the environmental space. Let's look at the issue here in South Africa. You're one of the few people I've met that take environment very seriously. What is it that we're doing wrong, or why are we not more aware of taking care of our environment? If you walk through the CBD or any little town anywhere in South Africa, you'll see the decay.
Yes.
And it's absolutely heartbreaking.
Yes. I do think education is an issue. Not everyone is informed, but the people that are informed about it, I fear that people can be a bit performative when it comes to environmentalism or just environmental consciousness. Like a school initiative will say, okay, we're going to clean up break and then we're going to take photos, post on social media, and it ends there. I would rather recommend people to make small lifestyle changes, even if it means every time I go shopping, I use reusable bags or I do not use plastic or paper straws. Those small changes, it's yes, it may not be some grand initiative that has posters and it's on the news and things like that, but it means you're consistently doing it and you're making change. You are supporting the environment in the long run. So I would more um encourage people to make smaller changes that you know you can sustain instead of doing something that's a one-day event.
And I agree with you, because imagine 1 million or 3 million people making one tiny change, and that is using reusable plastic bags instead of it ending up in our ocean or in our, in our water systems or whatever have you. Can you imagine just how much 3 million people or 10 million people collectively can make a huge, huge difference? So with that in mind, were you calling out people in your immediate environment, like parents, for example, if you saw them perhaps, carelessly throwing something away which would damage the environment? And how did they respond to you?
Yes. For me, my approach was more about promoting and encouraging. I think sometimes when you criticize people too harshly, they become defensive and they don't want to do it. But if you encourage them and you approach them in a positive way, saying, let's try do this, let's do this, and expose them to other ways, they are more receptive, more embracing, and more willing to change. And I've always been a person that tries to look at people holistically. I don't like to look at people at a surface level or superficial. Instead, I think about your perspective, your opinions, how your life story and what have you been exposed to. And maybe it's a situation where you're not actually anti the environment, you just don't know, or you don't know how you can change. And I do understand it sometimes can be hard because certain things, like if you buy groceries, the groceries are in plastic packaging, but it's certain lifestyle changes I think are meaningful, and I believe I would rather encourage you instead of necessarily just being harsh and criticizing you, because I know then you will be defensive and resist against the comments.
So I assume that the book has already been published and launched.
Yeah, they were both published last year.
And launched as well. What was the response, the sales and the response like to the book? And chatting with you in the short space of time, I have no doubt in my mind you haven't written and launched the book for the money. You've done it for the passion, for the love of your writing, your work, and the environment. So God bless you.
Well, I'm very into community service. And as you can tell, I'm not really not interested, but I did not do this for money or trying to generate money from this. So I donated my book to a lot of different libraries, NGOs, communities. And I would say the response has been quite positive, especially my children's book. And I've had parents come up to me and say they've learned so much from this book and they enjoy it, especially about teaching their kids that you have power in your voice, and protecting the environment is not just about protecting beautiful landscapes. It's also about protecting your well-being, because you cannot accomplish any of your goals if your environment is a disaster. And I want to tell people that not just environmental issues, but any issue you want to fight for or protect, you need to have faith in yourself, believe in yourself, and use your voice in a constructive manner. I think sometimes we can be really harsh with the words we use, and social media is a place where people are very ruthless. But instead, I think we can get messages across in a productive way. And that's what I want to encourage the youth to do. I want them to know that your voice is powerful and use it positively.
Okay. So now Locked in a Suitcase. What's that all about?
So Locked in a Suitcase is a poetry collection, and it's a collection of introspective poems that speak about how our life experiences influence our perceptions, assumptions, biases, and just how we view the world. And I made this poetry book for the reader to step out of their position and look at the world through a different lens, to open their mind, become a more empathetic, compassionate, and just a full-rounded person. And in the book, I want you to do a lot of self-discovery, introspection, self-reflection, and just even learn more about yourself. So it's a book where you read the poems and you even reflect about your own life experiences and how maybe you reacted to a specific situation or how others reacted. And even if you don't agree with another person, I say that's completely fine. But because you opened up your mind and you acknowledge that, I feel like that's very impactful.
So both with Jacaranda Tree and the chapbook locked in a suitcase. When you were busy doing these works, whom were you bouncing off? Was it your parents, or did you kind of just keep this all, within yourself and just felt this is right? There must have been someone that you were kind of bouncing off
Yeah.
your poetry and your storyline in Jacaranda Tree.
Yes. For me, the messages behind the books were the big reason why I wrote them, and I wanted to share them. So it started off with just my personal feelings and experiences, and then I went out to do research and learn more. And then once I'd created the first manuscript and draft, that's when I shared it with my parents, and I told them that I want to publish these books. And you've seen me do my few poems I released on my website, and you saw how much I enjoyed that, and I want to go through this process. This is my strategy. This is how I'm going to do it. School's going to still be a priority. I'm still going to do my community service, but I'm also going to do this, and this is what I want to bring into the world. And I think my parents, as they saw me, working really hard step by step, they were very proud to see how I was learning so many skills like time management, communication, setting priorities, boundaries, understanding what's important, how I can do this, and how I was willing to open the door for myself. I didn't wait for a publishing house to say I was good enough and they liked my book. Instead, I felt my message was very important and people that read it would appreciate it. So I wanted to do that.
Okay, school's behind you. You're looking forward to the next chapter in your life, which sounds very exciting and very interesting. But at the same time, it might even be daunting. You're going to a totally different country.
Yeah.
How are you preparing mentally, and emotionally for undertaking that huge journey in your
Yes.
life?
Well, I do lots of research, so I don't just go into something blindly. But I would say I try and take each day as it comes. I am grateful and appreciate every opportunity I have. And I'm there to learn. I'm there to expose myself to different environments and learn about people's stories. And that's what's making me really excited for this opportunity. I'm excited to learn and try something different.
It's Youth Month. And of course, we want to put out a positive message to youth out there. Young people having challenges in their schooling, in their school life, on the sporting field, perhaps even in their family lives, feeling misunderstood, unheard, unsupported. What is your message to them?
My message to them is, unfortunately, there's certain hardships that we can't avoid, but I think it's the way we react and how we protect ourselves. And for me, when I went through difficult moments, writing was a space where I could express myself and deal with those emotions. I felt like I created a forum where I was myself, I was authentic, I could be raw, I could not have to sound perfect, but I could just be Naledi. And I would encourage others, find a creative outlet, if that's through music, singing, dancing, or writing, where you can express yourself and you make it your home to protect yourself. And I think that is a way you can help yourself overcome those difficult moments when you're still going through them, and always remain positive. Sometimes it's hard, but I think having hope is really what keeps us all alive.
Is your next book in the pipeline? Are you thinking about it? Are you busy working on it?
Well, I'm always practicing my craft and improving it. I don't intend to publish anything right now, but I'm always writing.
Good on you. I do hope you're taking Jacaranda Tree and locked in a suitcase with you to the States, and hopefully either self-publish there or find a publisher and get the Americans to read what we South Africans are all about and how we think as well.
Absolutely.
So good luck to you.
Thank you.
You have an amazing future ahead of you.
Oh, thank
Go
you.
for it. Grab it with both hands and enjoy it. Life is a journey. It's a wonderful trip. Enjoy it with your positive attitude. It's been wonderful having you here. Your mom's sitting in the studio as well and smiling away. But it was so refreshing having you here. And talking with people like you gives us all lots of hope here in South Africa. Finally, to the youth of South Africa, those that are very disenchanted, those that can't find jobs, those that haven't had opportunities to study further, etc. What do you say to them?
I completely understand the struggle. I mean, I also experience it myself. But I would say wherever you are, whatever your goals are, I like to have my own little philosophy called just start, and start with what you have, what you know, and what you have access to. Sometimes I think we can limit ourselves because we feel we don't have all the connections, we don't have all the resources, we don't know who's who in whatever industry you want to do. But if you don't even start, you will never learn, you'll never expose yourself. So I would say take the leap forward. It's sometimes scary, but once you do it, you'll never regret it. And you'll learn so much more than if you never decided to open yourself out there to the world and give yourself permission to learn.
Naledi Setzin, author of a children's story book entitled Jacaranda Tree and a poetry chapbook, Locked in a Suitcase. What a pleasure chatting with you. God bless. Have a wonderful journey to the States, and that's in August this year.
Yeah.
And I pray that everything works out exactly as you prayed for, wished for, and worked towards. God bless.
Thank you.
It is exactly 12:31. We are moving along, and our final interview, of course, is with a director of Sanka Nishtara Drug and Alcohol Center based in Lenasia, and that is Raisa Waja, and Chaida Kazi, the former director of Sanka. Stay with us.
Soweto, it's time to stand together for justice, peace, and solidarity. Join us for the annual Soweto Walk for Gaza, taking place on Saturday, the 20th of June at 7:30 a.m. The walk will begin at the historic Regina Mundi Church and proceed to the monumentous Dlamini Mosque, bringing together people of all faiths, backgrounds, and communities in a powerful show of unity and support. Bring your family, friends, and fellow residents as we walk together for a common cause. Let your voice be heard and your presence counted. That's the annual Soweto Walk for Gaza, Saturday, the 20th of June at 7:30 in the morning, starting at Regina Mundi Church and ending at Dlamini Mosque. Together we walk, together we stand, together we show solidarity.